Okay guys, so this is part 2 of an illustration by Eliphas Levi that I'm currently decoding. Now this illustration was published in one of his books, Transcendental Magic. And so I wanted to show you some more of the information that we can find within these illustrations because they're all about the same thing, and this is the twin souls returning to God consciousness. Now it's not only depicting all of the twin souls. The main focus is on the divine souls because there are souls that were birthed through first onto this realm, and they are the closest to the divine knowledge. So they carry this within them. And at certain times within the cycle, when the light from Orion returns, the Akashic records, the consciousness of God, of Osiris, becomes available to these souls. And then they are illuminated and go on to be teachers. And this is why we see every culture all talking about a Messiah, all talking about a person that comes back and brings them knowledge, that helps them rebuild and gives them the information that they require. The Maya had this. We see it with the Christians, the Muslims, Judaism. We see it with the Hindu. You know, it's in every single culture. They have these illuminated souls returning, and they call them the Son of Man or the Son of God. And this is because these human souls have the wisdom within them. And it's not just the male, it's also the female. But unfortunately, because we've had so much manipulation of the texts and the scriptures, we've seen this left out in the Christian mythology. And they have basically designated Mary Magdalene, who was the embodiment of the female twin illuminated soul. They've delegated her to the back room and called her nothing but a whore and a troublemaker. And this is because they knew that the twin souls worked together to bring this information down from the divine. Because the male is already birthed with this information within him. The divine male soul has this knowledge stored within him, but it is the divine female soul that unlocks this knowledge from him. And this is what all of these illustrations are actually depicting. It's the divine twin souls that have this information. The Ark of the Covenant is the male. The Holy Grail is the female. Now we can also see there are 12 segments to each of these candlesticks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that's repeated on this side. Now if we bring 12 and 12 together, we get 24. And if we divide 24 by the Trinity, we get 8. So now we have the 8 represented in the twin souls, and we have our 8, 8, 8. And as I have mentioned previously, we can find 8, 8, 8 all throughout the Bible. And this is because it's all in regards to the immortal twin souls and infinite God energy. The 8 is the immortal twin souls. So the reason that we have 8, 8, 8 is because there is not only one soul, there is a male soul and a female soul. And they are both represented in their gender, the male and the female. And then they use the infinite God energy to remain immortal souls. But as I've said, they have to be aligned with their heart to reach the third eye, pass through the door, and then return to God consciousness, which is basically the Akashic records. The Akashic records then become available to them, and they are illuminated, and they are Christed, and they become the sons of man, the gods that walk the earth. And then they go and relay all this information at the height of consciousness within the cycle once again to all of the other souls that pass judgment. And this is now what we are about to experience. So that is why I'm telling people that It's not about meditating. It's not about doing energy work on your kundalini. It's about being a good person. You know, if you're going to some spiritual retreat every weekend, but then during the week you're just partaking back in the matrix, the illusion, and you're acting in the same behaviors, then really you can't be a part-time spiritual person. You either encompass this completely or you don't. Because, you know, the eye on the palm of the hand, the eye on the pyramid, the eye of Ra, the eye of Horus, it's all the same thing. It's God watching. God understands everything. And everything we do is recorded within our heart. And this is what happens in the weighing of the heart ceremony. Everything that we have done throughout our incarnations is recorded and is known to God at the time of judgment. So you can meditate on your kundalini all you like. If you're not a nice person, if you don't care about creatures and the planet and, you know, Mother Earth and other people, if you really don't care, then really you are not in alignment with your heart. So I would definitely recommend that people start basically taking it back to the truth, and that is just to be a good person, you know, and not pretend to be a good person, you know, behind these gritted teeth like I see a lot of these new agers do. You know, they'll have these big debates with me and they'll be careful about all the words they choose, and then they'll finish the argument with namaste, you know, and off they go. And they have just been completely out of alignment, because for one, you wouldn't even say namaste to someone that you've just had an argument with, because what that word encompasses is nothing that you should just throw around lightly. If you just say namaste to anybody and at any time, then seriously, you are disrespecting that word. And you really need to go and look at what that word means before you just throw it around. Because if you're actually saying namaste to somebody that you don't really feel that way about them, what that word encompasses, then you are not in truth. And this is like when somebody annoys you and you don't like somebody, but the New Agey movement tells you that you have to pretend to like them. You are not in truth. You are not in alignment. It's about being true to who you are, being true to yourself, and being true to others as well. And that's not by pretending to like people because you want to seem like some spiritual person that loves everybody. That is just fakeness. And you know, remember at the weighing of the heart ceremony, the heart has to be exact. It has to be in alignment exactly. Okay, so think of that as being in alignment. So if you go too far this way, you're too heavy. And if you go too far this way, you're too light. So if you're just one of these people that walks around being nice all the time, well then your heart will be too light and you will not pass judgment. Okay, you have to totally interact with people on a truthful level at all times. You can't hide away in some cave and just pretend that you can meditate your way back to God consciousness, or, you know, you can't withdraw from society and not interact with anybody or ever have any experiences because that's how you feel it's the safest way to be. Because once again, you are not allowing your true self to be experienced. You are not allowing God to see who you are. You know, these tests and challenges are all being given to us at these times, and everyone that's going through tests and challenges at these times, please know that you are connected, because if you're not, that means you're hardwired into the matrix and it's not even affecting you because you're running a totally different program. If you are connected to your ethereal self, then this is why you are experiencing these tests and challenges right now. And that is so that basically you are being seen for whether you can remain a person of integrity, a person who stays true to themselves and in their heart, or someone that just gives in to their base behaviors and instant gratification. You know, to make themselves feel good in the moment, to make themselves feel better than that person by using a manipulative way of doing it, manipulative means of coming out on top. That's not working anymore. And people may think that that's still working for them, but it really isn't. In the long run, these people are going to have to basically reap what they are sowing. They may think that they are getting away with it now, but they're not. And all of these people in positions of power, the police and the soldiers and the politicians, are all being given this leeway for a reason. It's to see how they are going to act when they are given this full power. And look how they're acting. You know, this is all of them basically failing their tests. And any police officer that stands by and watches another police officer do something out of integrity with a person that they have power over is also not in integrity. So it's not about, oh, well, I didn't do it, someone else did. No, you were still there and you were still present. Unless you're leaving the police force right now because you cannot stand what's going on, then you are no better than those people that are basically overpowering others because they believe that they have the right to do it and that they have this power. It's just a perceived power at the moment, and all of these people will be reaping what they sow, believe me. So just know that when someone treats you badly, that don't fall into that lower base behavior. Just let them play it out the way they're going to play it out, and take the higher ground. Because in the end, you know, those that are walking in truth will be rewarded. Those that are manipulating and those that are basically not allowing themselves to be authentic are the ones that are not going to benefit in the coming times. Okay, so once again, we can just basically see that we have the crown chakra up the top. We have the Trinity shown with the 3 flames. We've also got the 8 represented here by the serpent. Okay, you can just see it. Serpent represents the 8 once again. And that's pretty much it, guys. But you can clearly see that this illustration depicts the twin souls returning to God consciousness to be bestowed with divine knowledge so that the cycle can continue. And as I said, this is why all of these cultures all seem to be manifest at the same time, and they cannot understand how they just came from nowhere. And suddenly we have these unbelievably advanced cultures just springing up. And this is because they had access to the Akashic records. And each of these cultures, there's 4 different cultures. There's the black, the white, the yellow, and the red. Now, some people talk about bloodlines. I'm not sure if it's about bloodlines. I know that the bloodlines of the, what do you call them? The ones that, the Aryan race that Hitler was looking for, I think they are mistaken about it just being bloodlines. I think it's more to it than that. But basically that's what they're searching for. They're searching for the twin male and the twin female, the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail, because they know that that's how they're going to get access to this information. Except at the time when they were looking for all of this, they didn't quite understand it completely. And so this is why Hitler was doing all of those horrible experiments on young children looking for this Aryan race of people. He even went to Tibet to look for this Aryan race. And I do have more information on all of that, which I will bring to you because I'm currently researching into all of this. And this is the reason that people were slaughtered, and this is the reason that people were tortured, and this is the reason that all the texts were burnt, especially the Gnostic texts, because the Gnostic texts are the ones that say that Mary Magdalene was the Holy Grail, that she was the one that had the key to unlock divine wisdom. And so that's why they removed all the women from the church, and that's why they destroyed all the texts from the Gnostics. They killed all the Cathars and basically destroyed everything that they'd ever written down and kept it for themselves. Okay, this is the big secret. It's the divine twins reuniting to be bestowed with the Akashic records once again, so that at the beginning of a cycle we can rebuild and put down all of this information once again for when we come to a time of lower consciousness, when we forget, because it happens infinitely. Anyway, I've rambled on enough and I will leave it there. And you can find these diagrams in my Facebook group. There's a link at the bottom of the video. And as always, guys, peace out.